So, this is page 20 that I've started working on. You can see that, that's a copyrighted photo that I should not be showing on Twitch. Please wait. It's too late. It's too late. The cops are going to come. The cops are going to shut me down. But that is how I work on the background. That is Dotan. I think that's how they pronounce it. But this is when these are silhouetted heads in the foreground, and then here's Joseph, Mad Joseph approaching in the background. Here he comes. Here comes His Highness. That coat is so loud you can see it all the way from Shechem. And then, what do we do with Joseph? I'll tell you what we do. We kill him. Yeah! There we go. So that's what's happening on page 20. Usually I don't give away the text because you gotta buy the book in order to read the text, but oh well. We're giving away the gist of page 20. So I think the first frame is not quite ready yet, so we're going to have to work on frames 2, 3, and 4 instead of frame number 1. Usually I do frames in order, in chronological order, but we still got some work to do off screen with frame number 1. But anyway, still looking up information about biblical love, what love means in the Bible. Previously we have looked at the Greek words in the New Testament, and recently I have looked up some Hebrew words in the Old Testament, and there are at least 5 Hebrew words to go along with the 5 Greek words. There may be more than just 5 Hebrew words, but let's. Oh, that's Dothan. There's more Dothan. Let's look up. I found one good resource: firmisrael.org. FIRM. Israel.org. Hesed. Here we go. The meaning of Hesed, Hebrew for love. What is the meaning of the Hebrew word Hesed? One of the Hebrew words for love is Hesed. That's how you spell it in Hebrew, and pronounced chesed, which is actually a difficult word to translate into English. That is because there's a range of meanings for Hesed. I'm going to say Hesed, I'm sorry. I'm not going to, because I'm American, I'm sorry. For those of you who want me to use the hard H, the hard I can't do it. I'm sorry. Chesed. Theologian John Oswalt said Hesed is a completely undeserved kindness or generosity. The prophet Isaiah wrote, though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken. The word for love is Hesed in that context. Hesed is not just a feeling, but an action. It intervenes on behalf of loved ones and comes to their rescue, according to author Lois Tverberg. Hesed is not a romantic infatuation kind of love. It is a faithful, reliable love. When a wife prays for years for her husband to know God, is it is parents lovingly caring for their autistic child. Hesed is faithful, it is loyal, and Hesed is love put into action. And most importantly, Hesed is the unfailing love God has for you. Hesed is one of the most fundamental characteristics of God, consistent with what we know about his covenantal nature. Hesed is wrapping up itself all the positive attributes of God: love, covenant faithfulness, mercy, grace, kindness, loyalty, in short, acts of devotion and loving kindness that go beyond the requirements of duty, elaborates Bible scholar Darrell L. Bach. Throughout the Hebrew Bible, we see Hesed translated in a number of different ways: steadfast love, mercy, kindness, and goodness. While these synonyms develop our understanding, they only just skim the surface of this multifaceted, rich word. Perhaps the most effective way to grasp its meaning is to see Hesed in action. Thankfully, examples of Hesed abound throughout the scripture. In the book of Ruth, we meet Naomi in nothing less than a bleak situation. She is living in a foreign land and has not only lost her husband, but her 2 sons as well. While she has 2 beloved daughters-in-law, she makes the difficult decision to leave the life she and her family have established in Moab. Naomi decides to return to her native Judah, and she is ready to start afresh. To this end, Naomi encourages her daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth, to stay in Moab with their families and to find new husbands. This is a wise suggestion, because in those days, women without a husband were in vulnerable position, and these 2 women could most likely remarry easily. They were still young and had no children. A love that extends to loyalty. Orpah considers this and with a heavy heart agrees to stay in Moab. Ruth, however, remains with Naomi, and she even further solidifies her bond with Naomi with the now famous declaration, "Do not urge me to leave you or return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." Ruth 1, verse 16. Ruth had every right to start anew and pursue a husband from within her own people. However, by affirming her fidelity to Naomi and the people of Israel, Ruth chose an unknown path. She was a widow and an outsider, but she was also a foreigner from the people the Israelites had enemy history with. She affirms how important Naomi is to her, despite these other considerations. Ruth clearly had a strong relationship with her mother-in-law, so much so that she forsakes the easier path. Her display of Hesed, the love and loyalty to Naomi, is just one multiple examples found throughout the story of Ruth. Hesed, love, goes above and beyond. Another tangible display of Hesed love, which goes above and beyond, is an organization in New York City that provides home-cooked kosher meals to hospital patients and their families. They do so free of charge, regardless of background or affiliation. No application has ever been required. Satmar Bikur Cholim began in the 1950s with a small community of Holocaust survivors in the USA who recognized the value of supporting their other survivors. They wanted to help fellow survivors sustain the Jewish tradition they had before the war, and they would travel all around New York City just to do that. They strive to maintain the same ambition as their founding days, to help whoever needs it, preparing and delivering some cooked meals